I sit alone as we're divided by the water. And days go by as I think of our time. I won't forget when you walked into that room. And here I go and run away from you. When I lay down close to your side, I'm at home once again. When you hold your hand in mine, I don't feel alone, my friend. When you took me to your hiding place, we just talked and laughed as your smile lit up my face. Down by the beach where we saw the city at night, I held you close as your heart beat next to mine. When I lay down close to your side, I'm at home once again. When you hold your hand in mine, I don't feel alone, my friend. When you hold your hand in mine, I don't feel alone, my friend. When I lay down close to your side, I'm at home once again. When you hold your hand in mine, I don't feel alone, my friend. When you lay your hand in mine, I don't feel alone, my friend.
Okay, so I'm here with Sive. We're about to have our second Willowbrook Whispers in a few hours' time. How are you feeling?
I'm good, thank you for having me down.
You're very welcome. Do you get nervous before?
Sometimes, yeah, I'm feeling pretty relaxed now.
Yeah.
Talk to me in an hour.
Yeah. What's your pre-show jitters like? Do you have a routine of how you calm down, or?
You know what? No, I don't. Mostly because I suppose every show is really different. You know, when you're a small time act, you don't always have a place to go to do your calm down ritual. So this is quite nice because I will have a place to do my ritual, whatever that will be.
There's always a place for you in Willowbrook, always, Sive. So tell me, when you were a child, were you one of those kids that would run around making up songs, always playing music and having rhythm and little dances and stuff?
Yeah, I was mad for dancing actually. And I was always singing and kind of making up songs. I was actually more into making up stories and poems when I was a kid.
Okay, cool.
And then it was only when I was 12 or 13 and I started playing guitar that I started making up full songs. But I definitely had a few little ditties that I made up when I was 6. Love songs about, nobody.
Yeah, you should bring them back out again. Like an album of love songs from a 6-year-old.
Yeah, they'd be great. I think the first one was called Where Did Our Love Go? Or something. Whatever that was all about.
And so tell me, when you were a teenager, was there one album that helped you with your heartbreak?
Oh, I think I could give a different answer on a different day, but the first thing that popped into my head when you asked me that was 10 by Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure I had way uncooler albums before that I've chosen to block out, but that was the first album I remember listening to that it just had such a rawness to it and such an energy to it. Actually, the first time I came across it, I was in Kerry on my holidays with my family, and I was on like a carnival ride, and there was this kind of rocker guy that used to run the ride, and I totally fancied him.
Yeah.
And he just kept playing this one song Alive over and over again, and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, excuse me, what's that song? And he said, oh, you know, that's Pearl Jam. So I went out and bought the album, and I was hooked.
Yeah, brilliant. And they're playing this weekend?
Yes, I know, and I didn't get tickets. I did see them before, though, in The Point, and it was amazing.
Yeah, cool. So what steps did you take in your music career to like kind of be where you are now?
You know, I was like really clueless starting out. I suppose most people are, but I feel like when I look at people starting out now, and maybe it's because we're all a little bit more connected with Instagram and stuff, and you can kind of see how other people are doing things. Everyone seems so much more polished and like they know what they're doing at a younger age now.
Yeah.
I was totally clueless. I just was like, I like music and I have some songs, so I formed a band, and then I was like, I like albums, so I'm going to make an album. I just made an album. And then like in later years, people would be like, oh, you know, why did you release an album? That wasn't very strategic. You should have done this first and you should have done that first. And I was like, I don't know, I just liked albums, so I made an album. So it's been very higgledy-piggledy.
Yeah.
And like probably still is, because the rules are always changing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's sort of feeling your way as you go.
Yeah, just kind of
Don't
listen
ask
to your gut.
me for career advice.
Yeah. You're doing okay. And what kind of problems have you boundaries have you found yourself being as a woman in the music industry?
I think it's weird. Assumptions can get made about you when you're a woman. I remember like a couple of years ago, I feel like this is dying out a little bit. This guy that was running a music event, I met him at a gig and he's like, oh, you know, that was great. I should get you to play my event sometime. Not next one though, because I already have a woman on the bill. Oh. I was like, okay, so you can only have one, you've got your token woman. Now, I do think that's dying out a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think so, yeah, but you know, it's definitely been present, and it's still present in lineups, you know. If you're talking specifically about gender, it's still very imbalanced, and there might be more. I don't know if there's more men in bands or men making music than women, but the imbalance is not as heavy as it would look to be. If you look at a lineup.
It seems like there's more women in management as well.
Yes, yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
Not that I have a manager.
Yeah.
But no, there definitely is. There definitely is. So it's changed. No, it's definitely changing.
Yeah, good.
Thickest pair of gloves. He'll try to hold my hand, but he won't get close. Here we are at the turn of July, and floods of aching light, and I don't know why I'm defined by the shifting moods of the world. There you are alone in summer, you crave the glow of low light. You're not what they say you are, the dying embers, the cold that brought us too far. I keep you in my trickle by without a sound. They hang upon the air and bear their weight down. Didn't I pine when you carried the swallows away for another year? But they came back and I barely noticed their song fall in my ear. And I don't know why I'm defined by the shifting moods of the world. Bare you are alone in summer, you crave the glow of low light. You're not what they say you are, the dying embers, the cold that brought us too far. I keep you in my sheet and draw you when I need to see if I can see both sides. I keep you in my sheet and draw you when I need to see if I can see both sides, to sharpen my view of both sides. I won't go looking for the dark, but I'll move willingly when it comes back.
That's great. And what advice would you give your younger aspiring musician self?
I think it would be like, remember your why, but also keep coming back to your why and know that it's not a final destination and that it's going to keep changing. Because when you go out into the big bad world,
Yeah.
of music, you know, it can be hard and
Yeah.
you don't know what to expect. You're going to get rejected, you're going to get ignored, you know, all of these things, and it's easy to kind of lose heart, especially if you don't have your own sense of value.
Yeah.
Because the greater industry, just like the world, it's governed by trends and all of these things, and they're just going to keep going. Just let them keep going and just keep doing your thing,
Yeah.
and just know why you do it. You
Yeah.
know?
So what is your why? I have to ask now.
Why did I say that? Well, I guess, like, why did I start making music and writing music? It was to express something. It was to put something out into the world. It was because I love music,
Yeah.
and I feel like music is a way of doing that. So one thing that I did kind of find was when I got to a point, every now and again you get to a point where you just get really annoyed and you're jaded,
Yeah.
where like things weren't happening, I wasn't getting gigs, and I thought like, well, what's in my control? That stuff's not in my control. What's in control for me is my relationship with the music.
Yeah.
So what's in my control is how much I practice and how much I write and how I dedicate myself to the craft, even though that sounds pretentious.
Yeah.
So my why is that I want to express myself. And then I care about music, and I care about putting it out there in a way
Yeah.
that I think is good. I just hit the microphone, sorry. And then I think, but like that, it grows. I feel like it's grown from wanting to express myself to wanting to express something more universal and wanting to connect.
Do you feel like it's a need rather than a want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes I've thought, I should do something else, but then I go, I don't think I could not do this.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
if I wanted to not do it, I definitely need to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's lovely. And what do you think, in your opinion, is like wrong with the Irish music scene, and how can we make it better?
How can we make the Irish music scene better?
Support local music, go to
Support
local
local
events.
music, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but actually, no, that's it. Support local music, because I think what's wrong with the Irish music industry is what's wrong with the music industry. It's so focused on streaming and numbers and all of these things that don't always manifest into anything beyond that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I found that the last time I released an album, I kind of put everything into it, got all the PR and got all the reviews I wanted and all of that. And then when it came to like booking the next tour, that hadn't really become any easier. You know,
Okay, yeah.
venues weren't willing to kind of take a chance. So I think, but what's started to happen in the last couple of years there's all these lovely little gigs. You know,
Yeah.
there's people who own bookshops putting on gigs and
Yeah.
cafes and glamping sites.
Yeah.
So like support those if they're in your area, because you know, you don't want to have to go to the nearest city to go to a gig.
Yeah.
And it's often like they're often my favorite gigs, and I'm not just saying that. They actually are the nicest gigs a lot of the time. So more of that. I don't know if that was the question.
It was the question, yeah. And what about like Irish radio stations and stuff as well? Have you found yourself getting any airplay on them, or?
In the middle of the night, you know.
Okay, yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Cathal Murray. He plays one of my songs in particular quite regularly. But yeah, like the reality is, for most Irish artists, you're getting played in the middle of the night,
crazy.
or on the community stations.
Yeah.
And you know, I had a real realization during lockdown. I think I got 1 or 2 plays in the middle of the day on RTE, and like the royalties from those plays are so much more than in the middle of the night or on a smaller station. And I just thought, wow, like Irish radio at a time when gigs were gone could be really helping here. But you know, they're not.
They're not, yeah.
And there's some great, and like the people, if anybody watches this who's a DJ, anyone that's going to go to the bother of watching this, it probably doesn't apply to them.
Yeah.
There's just some great DJs in Irish radio, but you know, the mainstream is just, I guess, governed by ads and labels who kind of say, well, you know, we want this played a certain amount of times an hour or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Which is a pity, because there's so much. It's not like it would be charity to play a bigger array of music. Like, there's good music out there.
Yeah.
You know, it might be, you know, take people a little bit to get used to.
Yeah.
But you know, I think people are also more open-minded than a lot of radio give them credit for. Like, they won't mind if they don't have to hear the same song 5 times a
Yeah,
day.
exactly.
They're open to something else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to keep on plodding on and changing the world with our vibes and your beautiful music.
And capitalism.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for coming. And
Thank you.
So looking forward to hearing you play tonight.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
She got in the machine and now she's the driver. I don't know what she's thinking.